Fancy new phone system, huh? Very exciting. For me, mostly. Uh, so today I really just want to show you how to use this phone. At the end of the day, it is a phone. It rings, you pick up the handset, you talk into it, and you hang it up when you're done. That's the easy part. But when it comes to actually making calls and transitioning calls from one phone to another, I kind of want to walk through a few of those kind of processes for you. So first things first, how do I make a phone call? If you dial 9 before you dial the number, it will fail and you won't be able to get that to work, and then you'll not do the 9 and it will work. So just keep that in mind. No more 9. Punch in the number you want and hit the call key, which is green right here in this corner, or you can lift the handset up. Either one will work. And we're on the phone. Okay. Hang up is end call here, or you can just do the classic hang up there. Okay. Dialing extension to extension, same process, but instead of dialing a full 10-digit number, you're just going to dial the extension of the person. If at some point we have some speed dials set up, you'll see buttons that look like this. These will be like a speed dial for each of these persons. They have a name next to them. They also have a green indicator light to tell you if they're on the phone or not, or if they're on their do not disturb or something like that. So you can just quickly just hit the button and that speed dials that person without having to remember their extensions. So these guys are going to help with programming some of those speed dials as you need, but for now, this just has a list of everybody. Okay. Now, if you need to move a phone call from one phone to another, there's 2 core ways to do that. I'll show you both. The first way is to use parking. So if I call myself, I'm talking to myself here, and I want to move it over to this phone. I have these 3 park buttons, park 1, 2, and 3. They're all green, which means they're not in use right now. I push the button on any of them. And now you notice that the park on that one is also red, as well as this one here. It means that there's someone sitting there listening to music, waiting for them to be retrieved, right? All I have to do is push park 1 on that phone, and now my cell phone is talking to that device. Now, in the meantime, you could have then, once you put them on park, you're just kind of both sitting available to do whatever. I could call that phone, tell them, hey, Sam's on park 1. He wants to talk to you about something. They go, cool, thanks. And then you pick it up over there. So 1 button to put them on park, call the person you want to pick it up, 1 button to press to retrieve it. And I'm back. Now, if I need to transfer, like a full transfer, right? That could be to an extension, it could be a cell phone number, it can be any number you want as long as it's a real number, of course. I'm going to push this transfer key right here, which is on the bottom left edge of the screen, only when you're on an active call, so that's why you see it right here. So you push transfer, you hear dial tone, you're going to dial the extension or the number that you want to dial, send that call to. 3601. That is going to then push the call key. It calls them. Mute it so don't get... They're talking, you're notifying them that you're about to transfer a call, and you're pushing the transfer key 1 more time. And now I'm over there. So I'm transferring, dialing the person I want to transfer to. Can be an extension, can be a full 10-digit number, doesn't matter. It calls them, you notify them of the transfer, and then you push transfer 1 more time. If you do not need to call them to notify them of the transfer, you just want to send it off to them, you're skipping a little bit of that step. You're just pushing transfer, dialing their extension or their number, and there's a B transfer button. B transfer stands for blind transfer, and you're blind transferring it off to that extension. So as soon as you hit the B transfer, which is right next to the transfer key right here, it will immediately send the call and hang up your phone for you. Okay? Yes?
Do you have to know their number, or can you search for their number?
Yes, you can search. As soon as you hit the transfer key, there's a button at the bottom that says directory, and then you can go in directory and you can search through the list if you don't know their number. Yeah. Or if you know if you know they have a button, you can just hit their button. So transfer and push the button. Just keep in mind that transferring and then pressing the button is an immediate blind transfer and not a announced transfer. So it's going to go right to them with no heads up. Yes.
The park buttons, if we have a call here and it's for somebody on South Kansas, if we park it, will they be able to pick it up on park, or is it because it's different buildings it won't work?
Each building has their own independent parks, but if there is a need, if you guys need to have, I can add as many parks as you could feasibly imagine. So if you needed to have like some global parks that everybody could use to transfer across different physical buildings, we could set that up, and it would just be another, like you call it like global park and put another button on the screen, and you could do that. Yeah, that's an option totally.
Well, I just didn't know if we should park and we're transferring.
Right now, it'd be transfer to go to a different building. Yep. Yep.
Just so you know, I don't think the global park would be a best case, just because I have a feeling that would be confusing between department. I think the transfer is the best route for that. We just made sure that the park was for building specific, so that everybody could use that internally inside of the building.
There is a additional part to that transfer section there. If you need to transfer direct to voicemail, like you know the person on the other end doesn't want to take the call, or they're just busy or whatever, you can skip the ringing process before it goes to voicemail and just send it right to voicemail. To do that, you're going to push your transfer key like you did before. You're going to type 07 and then their extension, and when you hit the send call key, it will hang up and it'll go right to voicemail and not ring that person's phone first. So transfer 07, extension number, call, hang up, and that'll go right to voicemail. Okay. Now, parking and hold are very similar in that the caller on the other end is hearing lovely music. However, a held call, using this hold button right here, can only be picked up again from this phone. Whereas a park can be retrieved from any phone in that building, a held call is held only on the phone in which you pushed hold on. Okay. Now, conference calls. If you need to do a three-way conference call, you can do so. Once I'm on the phone with the first person, I have a conference key, which is just right on the bottom edge of the screen. Once I push that, it's going to be the same process as a transfer, but I'm going to be using the other button instead. So I'm on the phone once, I push conference, I hear dial tone, I call my next person. Can be a cell phone number off system too if needed. Calls them, I notify them that I'm going to do a conference call, and I push the conference key one more time.
When you press conference, it basically puts the original call on hold.
Yep.
They don't hear you calling.
Correct, yeah. Anytime you do, like, as soon as you hit transfer, it's like auto putting them on hold and picking up your second line to call somebody else. It's doing all that for you.
Okay.
And the same thing with the conference button too.
You get the second person on, you say you just hit conference again.
Yep, and that brings them all three together. Yep, and once you are in that three-way conference call, you can mute one side or the other if you need to have like a training session with somebody or whatever. You know, they can listen in while the other person can't talk or whatever. So there's a few different options, but only on the person who initiated that conference call on their phone. Okay. Questions so far? We're doing good? Okay. So I want to go through a few of the features on the phone so we understand what all these little bells and whistles do. The little spacebar shaped button down here at the bottom, this is your volume. If you adjust the volume with the handset down, it will be the ringer sound of volume. And if you lift the handset and adjust it, it will be the in-ear volume of the earpiece. The X is my favorite button. It's the please help I'm lost, go back button. So regardless of what you're doing, if you're in a menu and you get lost doing whatever you're doing, you keep pushing X, it will take you back out to this home screen. Just keep in mind that it will hang up a phone call. It will kill whatever you're doing, and it will take you back to this home screen right here. Your little circle pad here is your directional arrows, and then the center is like an OK button. You have your dialer buttons here. On the right-hand side, you have a speaker button right here. Arrow key, like the two little arrows kind of going in like a little circle. That's redial. It just opens up your previously dialed list. If I lift the handset and hit redial, it auto redials the last number in the list. So that's going to call my cell here. Okay. This symbol here is a phone arrow to another phone, and that is the same transfer key that was up here on the screen when we were making a call. Either one will work, but I typically use the one up on the screen. And then the hold key is a pause symbol right here. It's the same hold key that's up on the screen during the call, but again, it's like exactly like the transfer key. On this gray section right here, this far right button, it's two little arrows pointing like left and right. That toggles you through the pages of your phone screen. Each phone by default can have up to 5 pages of buttons, and you just keep toggling until you get back to page 1. So you just keep pushing it, and it toggles through those pages. I have pre-programmed for most of the locations to have some pre-programmed buttons for all the people within that building. I ran out of buttons on the City Hall, but these guys are going to help kind of tweak what you have so it will work for you. But the next one over is a little microphone with a slash through it, and if you need to mute yourself, it turns red, and they no longer can hear you. You know, if you need to let out a sigh or a scream or whatever you need to do. If you're using a headset, this headset icon right here will be green. If you don't have a headset, this will never do anything, never light up or do anything, so you can kind of just ignore it. But if you have a headset and that's not green, that's a problem, and you want to hit that, and it'll turn like a bright green color. And then the last one is a little envelope symbol that is your voicemail. When I push that, it's going to ask me for my PIN, followed by the pound sign. The default voicemail PIN is 8770. That can be changed, but by default, it is 8770. So if I hit that, which, have you changed yours? I don't think you have.
Please enter your PIN. You have 0. New message.
And that gets you into the listen to it and push the options to do various things. I don't know the exact numbers on the options, but I think it's like 6. You can do your greetings if you want to record your own voice. You can go in there and you can mess around with your greetings and you delete messages and stuff like that. So that's kind of the gist of what that menu will be used for. On the bottom edge of the screen above the silver bar, we have history on the left. Very like on your cell phone, you have your missed calls, placed calls, received calls. You can arrow down through these lists and you can select them again and call them back if you need to. Your directory, and then you're going to press OK once on the remote phone book will take you into a full list of everybody in the company. Maybe. There we go. So you'll see an entire list, like you had mentioned before. You'll see a whole list of everybody, and there's a search function. You can use T9 word to search for people's names because there's a lot of people that work here, so it might take a little while to scroll down through the list, but that's what that section's for. Next one over is your DND. Unfortunately, there are no dragons, but you can then no longer receive phone calls. So if I have that turned on, you'll see this DND mode is enabled button up here, and it's all red, and that means this phone will no longer take calls. If you are in a ring group with multiple phones ringing at the same time, if you DND yourself, it will skip you. And if you're the first person in that sequence, you've DND'd, it will skip you and go to the next person. Kind of a scenario. Otherwise, if someone's calling you direct, it'll just go right to voicemail. And then the last one is the menu. This menu is very early 2000s flip phone. It's not overly exciting, but you can change your wallpaper and you can change your ringtones and some of that stuff under the basic settings. I've gone into the menu and there's a basic section. You hit OK, and you can change things like the time and date, the display, the sound, stuff like that. You can turn Bluetooth on. These do have Bluetooth by default. And if you had a pair of headphones or something you wanted to pair to these and use those, just keep in mind not all headphones are the best for making and taking phone calls, but they can be used if you want. Page will be probably adjusted slightly, but for right now, there is a page phone and a page overhead button here on the screen. All you will need to do is press it, and you'll hear a little chime, and then you can talk into the handset, and then you hang it back up.
Is that okay to the building we're in?
Yeah, only the building that you're in. Yeah, if it's paging other buildings, there's something wrong happening. Yeah, should not do that. No, you can use speakerphone. Only reason I say to lift up the handset is if you're under a speaker and you start to page on speakerphone and the speaker's above you, you might get like a feedback screech. Yeah, it happens, and then people complain, and I'm like, well, why'd you do that? I don't know. So, any other questions? Yeah.
You had mentioned that a ring group was possible. We have a previous ring group. Have those been set up yet?
Yeah, oh yeah. Everything should be.
Yours should be working the exact same way they were before.
I asked because there was a call between when you set up and this meeting, and it didn't ring between.
We'll check it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. Yeah, yeah, make note of
And
that.
the other one was the outgoing voicemail, and that's, do we need to set those up again, or are
There is a.
carried over from the previous?
They're not carried over, but there is a pre-generated message that says something along the lines of your name is currently not available. Please leave a message. Kind of a very generic thing. That can be redone, of course, and you can even use the type up a script and have it auto spit that out for you. It just kind of depends on how you want to do it. If you don't want to have your own voice on there, you don't have to. So, yeah, but those will need to be redone if you need to have something special for that message. Yeah.
Matt mentioned the ring groups, which we've got set up in our office,
Mhm.
and Nathan was down there, we noticed that caller ID doesn't ID, it just
Oh.
shows the number.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna look at that. I think I have a special setup on yours. I remember your name in the list when he said it, and so I know I had to do something crazy with yours to get it to work right. So yeah, I'll get that working for you. Yeah, lots of fun little crazy little fun setups I had to do for this one. So
What is the announce your name function? When is that announced? Just in any call or just in voicemail?
announce here. I'm not sure I understand the
There's
question.
a button on there that says record your name. Just your name.
Oh, okay. So a recorded name is an old system function. It's using this function too, but it's only needed for to be discoverable in a dial by name directory. So you guys aren't using that, as far as I'm aware, anywhere. So you don't necessarily have to have it. But if you don't have a recorded name, the dial by name directory can't find you, and it will just not send the calls to you. That's what that's for. Yep. Any other questions? At least not for now, right?
Does this one have an app like the old one did where it can ring to cell phones?
Yes. Yes, it does.
We can get those set up. We were just wanting to make sure handsets, any questions on the handsets, physical stuff, any of those? If not, we'll go ahead and I'll have him jump on the computer here and show a little bit of the portal itself. That's mainly going to be used for us because this is kind of like the back office that we're doing previously. But depending on division head, department head type things, we might be able to give some of that access to others, like supervisors that would want to be able to do multiple. Let me move this over.
Can you log in as one of your user?
Yeah, I can log into mine. You're asking me to remember my password.
I don't want to have them see all the admin stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Less
So this sign-in is going to be your extension at Newton, Kansas, not .com. I made that mistake a few times. Let's see. Oh, sweet, I was right. All right, now let you do that.
Okay. So this is what the individual users portal will look like once you have logged in. The default password for this is the same for everyone currently until we change it. It is "We built this city," like the song, with a capital W, exclamation mark, 2026. So we built this city, capital W, exclamation, 2026. I always try to come up with a fun little password every time because you have to make them unique, so I might as well make them fun. Okay. So once you have gotten signed in, and again, you use your extension number @ Newton, Kansas for your login name. You will see this web portal. And if you have any voicemails, they kind of show up right here in this home screen, in this section right here. I'll get into the voicemail section up here, but they'll kind of give you like a heads up, like, hey, you have a message right on this front screen. And you'll also see your history, as well as the ability to modify your desk phone is this gear icon, which we'll jump into here in a minute. If you need to check voicemails, you hit your messages section. You'll see them in here. You can click a play button to listen to them back.
Isn't that also, well, if we turn it on for recording, that is where that would be.
Recordings are going to be under the call history.
Okay.
It's going to be this button right here, which this user doesn't have it turned on, so it doesn't have any recordings. But once you have recordings turned on for your specific user, there'll be a little button next to that call. You'll have to go find the call in this call history list, and then you can click on this button that says recording, and you'll be able to hit a play button and listen to it.
So we know that some of you have call recordings turned on. We'll make sure that those are turned on for those specific users. And if there are people that want that turned on, we can get that turned on for you.
Mm-hmm. Under the messages, there is a settings section. This is where you can tweak some of your voicemail settings, like that greeting we were talking about before. This is kind of the default one, very quick and generic. But if I wanted to change that, I can click the manage and edit, and I choose my text to speech, and I can type up what I want it to say in here. And anything I say in this script, it will spit out for me. Keep in mind that if you have a difficult to pronounce name, the system might butcher it, and you will have to spell it phonetically and not accurately. You can also choose one of the voices from this drop-down list. If you don't like the voice, you just pick a different one, and you can hit the play to listen to it back. Just keep in mind that the ones that say Watson are developed by IBM, and they sound quite a bit more robotic than the ones that say Google. Google is just better at AI voices. So that's that. And you hit save, and you have your voicemail greeting. If you want to record it yourself and you don't feel like going into the menu on the phone and doing it, you can select this record option. It's going to default your phone's extension into that field here. As soon as I hit call, my desk phone is going to ring. I answer. It's going to quickly say a message about record the message after the beep. It beeps. You speak into the phone. I think it says to press 1 to submit, and then you hang up, and that's your live greeting. And you can just keep redoing it if you mess it up. So the last one you do will obviously become the active one. Voicemail to email is on by default. It's this check mark box right here. If you don't want that, uncheck it. If you do like it, but you don't like your desk phone to hang on to the message, because if you have this turned on by default, it's going to have your voicemails sent to your email. It's also going to be sitting on your desk phone. You'll have a little blinking indicator light, and then you'll have to go delete it again. If you don't want to have to delete it twice, once from your email and once from your desk phone, we'll change this after email notification to move to trash. And we hit save, and then it no longer goes on the phone. Okay. Contacts section, this is going to show all of the company contacts, but it will also allow you to add your own. These will only impact your extension. So if we need to add group extensions or group contacts, we'll do that a little bit different way. But if you need to add your own personal contacts or whatever you want to do, you can add these in here, and then those will show up in the directory list on your phone. If you need to block somebody, you can do that right here under the answering rules. By default, it's going to show what your phones do if someone dials your extension. So right now I'm on 1205. If someone calls 1205, it is going to ring 1205, which right now is just the desk phone. As soon as you log into a mobile app or you have your web phone pulled up, this will show those devices next to it, and it would then ring all of those devices at the same time. And if we don't want them all ringing at the same time, we can adjust those rules, but by default, it's going to ring them all at the same time. If I need to block somebody, I hit the allow block, and I can throw the number in there, and I hit the plus, and I hit save, or I hit done at the bottom. Allowed numbers sounds kind of silly, but it just means that if you have your D&D turned on, anyone in this list can still contact you during that time. So that's what that's for. Timeframes. Timeframes are like your business hours. You shouldn't really need to mess with this stuff too much because it's just for like the main number type stuff. And your phones, again, this is where your phones live. If I need to edit my buttons, I can click on this gear icon on the right and I say yes. And you'll see kind of a little picture of your phone, and all these buttons are pre-programmed for stuff. This one is one of the fire department phones. And so they have a couple of speed dial buttons for the other stations, and one for the ER and one for the dispatch. So all I would need to do is click on one of these. I choose the drop down. If it is someone who works for this organization and has an extension on the system, I use the user BLF. I can then type in their name. And then that will be then a speed dial for that person. It will also give that little green indicator light to show you if they're on the phone or not. If they don't work for your organization and it's a cell phone or some other external number, I choose speed dial, type in the phone number, give it a label. That label is what it will say on the button on your screen of your phone, and then you'll have a speed dial for that. You can make as many of these changes as you need. And right now this is just page 1. If you need to get to page 2, you just come down here and hit next page, and you'll see a whole bunch of people in here. But you can adjust these as you need. Once you're done, there's a save button down here. However, if you hit the little arrow on the side, there's a save and resync. If I only hit save, it only saves the config change to the cloud and not to the device. But if I hit save and resync, it does both, and it will push the update right to your phone. Just keep in mind that some setting changes might reboot your phone. So if you're expecting to be able to make a call immediately, you might not want to do that right at that moment. So just keep that in mind. And your call history, this is just the call history for whatever extension I'm logged in as. So you can go in here and look at the calls that you've made, calls you've received, and whatnot, and then also check your recordings on this recording button right here. Questions on that part before I get into the web phone? Yes.
Phones button with changing your extensions is just for the phone that's with you, not across the building.
Your handset, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Could you show them how to reset the password? Is that something that you can do while masquerading?
I don't know if you can do while masquerading, probably.
I think you can.
Yeah, it's right there. It would be right there.
So essentially, once you get signed in, if you want to change it from that default password, which
We
your
would
IT
highly
friends
suggest.
highly recommend you do, you'll click your name up at the top, you'll click profile, and then there's a section in there to fill out a new password. It
It'd
would
be
be
right
in the
there.
change account security. Go ahead and set your password there the first time you log into it.
Because we just said the default password in this recording for everybody, so let's get those changed if we're signing in.
I can't read the URL there.
Oh.
We get to-
Oh, yeah.
We can send that out. It's, yeah, I mean, I can probably just email it. Yeah, I'll probably just send that in an email, so don't worry about that. I'll put that in in an email, because I was also, one of the things we haven't really decided that I still know we need to kind of talk about is who all necessarily needs access to each one. I mean, if everybody wants to be able to edit their own and do their own, that's great. But also, if specific supervisors don't want people to have the ability to do that, then, you know, it's one of those things we're trying to figure out. So we're just giving a blanket overview of how this would work if you are allowed access to this portal. So.
Last thing I want to show is the web phone. So if you are using a laptop, something with a built-in microphone and headset that you want to use, you can use your computer as a phone. I click the apps icon right next to your name, and then I am selecting the Connect web phone. This will open up a new window, These can be installed as an application so that it will have a shortcut, and you can pin it to your taskbar, that kind of thing, that you don't have to log in every time that you want to go and get into this. You just click it and it'll pop open. You will need to allow some things, depending which browser you're in, it might look a little bit different, but for Chrome, I'm going to allow microphone access and allowing notifications. And there I am. Once you've gotten connected, you'll see the green icon up here. It will say registered. If that is not green and says registered, then you're having some sort of problem, and we can reach out to these guys. Otherwise, you come over here and you have a dial pad. So if I need to make a phone call, pop this open. I can type it in. I can click on the numbers. Either way will work. And then I hit my call. If I do this. Oh, that's like full. Okay. All right. Cool. So once I've done that, you'll see a lot of the same stuff that we have on the desk phone. You have your mute, hold, a dial pad. If you're ever dialing into a place that has an auto attendant, and like press 1 to do this, press 2 to do that, you need to be able to dial those things. You can click on this, and then you have a dial pad to choose those options. Add a call is a conference button. So I hit that. I can then choose from contacts or dial another number, either way. Transfer. Same transfer as before, except you just click transfer, choose from contacts, or dial another number. Parking can be done here as well. I can select this park. I can choose any of the parks and park them. Switch phone is used if you take a phone call, say you take a phone call here and you want to send it off to your cell phone and then leave, if you need to like run out the door. You can hit the switch phone and it will ring your other devices, and then you can pick it up on another phone. The other person on the other end may not even notice that you do that, so it's kind of a nice little like quick way to switch it to your mobile and then run if you need to. And hide call just does this thing. And then if you need to manually record, if you just want to record this call or even just a part of this call, I can click this and it allows you to like toggle recording on and off. Unless your calls are all recorded, then that doesn't really do you any good. But this would be if your calls are not normally recorded and you want to record either the whole call or a part of a call, you just click it to turn it on and click it again and turn it off, and then that will then export out as a file on your computer. Okay. A lot of the same tabs you see over here on the left. You'll have your call history, your same voicemail, chat, and SMS. So the chat is like a built-in, sort of like Teams or some sort of like chat function. You can send messages back and forth between people within the organization. SMS would be an external message to another cell phone of some kind, which is not a built-in feature unless you add it.
And we have licenses for that, but we have a limited amount of licenses for that. I think we kind of have a general idea for who all is going to get those, but that's going to be coming later this week and next week when we're finishing the rest of this up.
Call parks we mentioned before. This is where you could go retrieve one. If someone says, hey, I have a call for you on Park 1, you can go in here and you could pick it up. There will be a little P symbol to the right, and it'll have a caller ID of the person right here in this section, and you go pick it up. Your answering rules are that, like, what happens if my phone rings? You can make adjustments into here. You can set your DND in this section as well. But chances are this is kind of like a set it and forget it kind of section. And then your greeting will be accessible here as well. Under settings, you'll see a lot of audio settings, what your microphone is doing, what your headset is doing, what your ringtone sounds like, that kind of thing. And then here is the install app button. You can either do this one, or on Chrome you can hit this guy right here. It says install up here in the corner. I'm not going to do it on this computer, but if you do that, it'll just pop it open immediately up on a brand new window, and it will have its own icon that will show the Access Systems symbol instead of like a Chrome symbol. So it's pretty visually obvious as to what that is. This is the same login as your mobile app, so anyone will be using the mobile app will have the same login, and a lot of these features will look almost identical. So as soon as you pop that open, you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, it looks just like it. So, and it functions just like it because it is the same thing in a sense. So. Any other questions? Not till tomorrow when I'm gone, right?
Well, so yeah, kind of like I said before, this portal itself, we'll probably have a little bit more conversations with department division heads, just making sure who all will need access to it and whatnot. But whether or not we program your buttons for you or you guys do it yourself, obviously, part of the reason why we like this was because so you guys could do that, because then that's, everybody loves submitting a ticket and saying, hey, I need to update my buttons again. So it's nice to kind of have that on there. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of just what this portal's for. And then also the same thing with the mobile app for those that are traveling around or typically leave and need it on their phone. We have access for that as well. So we'll kind of be coming around. My guess is a little bit tomorrow and next day and into next week. We'll be running around making sure that it's all configured correctly, how you guys want it. Same way that obviously the last system, as far as the way it's all works for you guys. That's what we want to do. Today and yesterday obviously was just making sure that everybody's phones are up, working, the numbers are good, and the calls are going through. So yeah, and then of course we want to get these trainings done for you guys as well. So that's it. I think we're good. So
Thank you.
yep.
Thank you.